And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB.
All right. So first of all, here's a couple of things. How does it feel to be? Look, masked men to me are just so effing cool, and we've seen so many. How does it feel for you to be in the company of guys like a Mil Máscaras or a superstar, a mass superstar? You know, you're part of that. That group,
well, I tell you one thing. I learned a lot from Bill Eadie. I mean, because he came into Atlanta when I was doing the jobs with the Challenger. And I used to watch him, and I always listen. I talked to the guys, and he used to tell me, "Bro, I wear a mask, but you have to. When you wear a mask, you have to be able to sell everything with your body. You have to have good body English, because you ain't got no facial expressions because it's covered up.
Right.
So you got to do a little more extra than the other guys do. And Bill was really, we should talk about that because I never knew I was going to wear a mask when I was talking to him about it, just on that TV show. He'd say, listen, what you need to do, and he'd help me with it even back then. But Mil Máscaras, I was never around him much, but the one time that I really had to, he used to work for Paul Bosch in Houston, which is where I'm from. So I've been on shows with him there. But the last time I seen him, we didn't get along very well because we were in San Antonio, and this is for Joe Blanchard back then for Southwest Championship Wrestling. And so we're at the Hemisphere Arena. We got a big show, and I got Máscaras to like fourth match or something. Tully was the booker, the son. He comes over and goes, "Hey, you guys go 20 through." Máscaras said, "No, I'm not going through. I'm going over." I said, "You go back and tell that son bitch if he wants to go over, go ahead, but he ain't going over me." And so and so finally we went to the ring with no finish, and so we went 20 through. But all of a sudden, he started trying to take my hood off for real in the ring. Trying to yank it off. So I fired up on the shoot and started on his ass for real. Holy shit, you talking about a fist fight.
Wow.
Anyway, that's the last time I dealt with Mil Máscaras. Yeah.
Why do you,
we finally blowed up and we quit. You know what I mean?
why do you think Mil Máscaras gets a free pass? Because look, back in the day, from what Mike and I remember in the mags and seeing him come to the WWF from time to time, the guy was so over with the crowd and so beloved. Meanwhile, we learned as we've been doing this show for the past, bunch of years that Mil Máscaras behind the scenes is a real wiener. I'm keeping it clean, folks.
Yeah, but, you're right. You're right.
How does he seem to get away with the free pass? The internet usually is
the only thing I know, I don't know really. Like I said, I wasn't around him that much because he didn't work a lot of territories. But the only thing all I could figure out was that, he was a movie star in Mexico. Yes. He could damn sure draw a lot of Latinos in, Texas, little Mexico, you know what I mean? And so, I know that here now, other places, I don't know. But New York, there's a lot of Latinos in New York too, so,
All right, Len, the most important question I've got to hit you with. This is the most important question.
Here we go.
Okay.
How often when you're on again, I know you were married, so I don't know, but anyway, how often on the road did the women want you to have sex with them with the mask on?
Well, I never done not partake in anything like that.
What?
Okay, let me tell you something, okay? Here's how bad it was, okay? In Memphis, Tennessee, okay, which is one of my favorite territories because of this right here. We would wrestle, and on Friday nights, they'd have us close to Memphis because Saturday was early TV. Like, you had to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning, right? So they wanted to make sure we got in. We didn't get all screwed up. Yeah, right. That worked. Anyway, so we have a short drive, like 100 miles or whatever. So we go to this hotel where all the heels stayed, and so of course, all the rest of the girls, all the rats knew it, right? Me and Tony Anthony, Grappler #2, right? Many times did this. We go in because back then, there's Johnny Nord calling me right there. Hang it up.
Can you
So
pick
back then,
you could pick him up, let him call in, and then you could talk so we could hear him. We could all talk together. I think that would work.
okay,
better.
when he'll call back in a minute. So say the story. So what will we do? Me and Tony get through wrestling, get to the hotel, put the beer on ice in the bathtub, right? Wash our tights, hang them up. We wouldn't be dirty for tomorrow night. And then Tony go, Lenny, put the cheese in the window. Remember I had that loaded boot?
Yeah.
He called it the cheese. He put the cheese. I put it in the window, and within 5 minutes, knock, knock, knock. Said, come on in, ladies. They'd be driving around the parking lot.
Wow.
Put the cheese for the rats in the window. I put that loaded boot in the window. Many, many times. I'm not making that up.